I feel like my appearance is just going downhill every day. If you watch all the videos I'm making every day, because I have to make them for 2 classes, they just keep going downhill. I guess I didn't even wear any makeup. I got makeup on today, so you're saved a little bit of it. But my hair color, right? Because you know what's happening right now. Can't get a hold of anyone. I have my 16-year-old coming over today to help me with my roots. So, and it's filthy. I've been sweating outside every day. We bought a new house in August and just redoing the yard, putting just dozens of azaleas out. My poor husband's been digging all the holes and planting them, cutting through big roots and things. But I've been, cleaning the fence and putting out pine straw and, so I've sweat every single day. Plus, working out, I'm going to sweat, but I've got some dirty hair. Okay, enough about that. We're looking at, chapter 15. My notes are up here. I thought I'd hit from a different angle. Give you some variation. I probably need to do this in a different room, but this is where I can hide out from everybody. I'm on the 3rd floor, and they usually don't. They hear me talking. They know not to come up, so it's quieter. But chapter 15, we already did 13, physical and cognitive development and early adulthood, 20 to 40. And we did chapter 14. I got to hit this thing right here. Sorry, I got to email or text real quick. No. She wants to come right now and do my hair. I'm like, no, I can't. I'm making a video. I told you 6:30. Okay. So then we did chapter 14, socio-emotional development and early adulthood. Now we're moving to middle age. It's my favorite age, so it's going to be hard to keep it short, but you don't want to watch a 45-minute long video, so I'm going to try to be fast with it, okay? Middle age varies, and what you're going to find is that the age that these adult stages break up into are fuzzy on the ends. With babies, it was 0 to 2, and then little kids 2 to 6. And then middle-aged kids, 6 to 12. Adolescents, 12 to 20. But when we get into adulthood, things start to become a little more vague. And the reason that is because the events of people at this stage of life in adulthood are not always the exact same timing. As you go through childhood and adolescence, you have a lot of events that normalize or standardize your development, like when you can start sports and going to middle school and going to high school and prom and graduation and getting a driver's license and being able to date. These are events that happen to people around the same time. And so they're kind of trekking through their development together. But once those doors of high school open up, everybody runs every which way. It's like Grease, the original Grease, where we go together like women, right? They showed the scene where they're all running out into the carnival, the last day of school. Everybody goes their own way. Maybe that was their discussion. Like, what are we going to do now? We'll never see each other again. And that's prompted that song. I love Grease. One of my favorite movies. Watched it a million times. It's one of the only ones I can watch that much. My 13-year-old daughter and I can quote just about every line in the show, and we love to sing the songs. So anyway. So after high school, everybody experiences things differently. Some people get married right after. Some never get married. Some start working full-time. Some work part-time and live at their parents' house forever. Some move out. Some go away to college. It's just so different. So people move through the stages a little differently. Some people use their body up really hard. They're rode hard and put up wet. So their body ages faster. Remember that secondary aging? They really abuse it in early adulthood and adolescence, and then it catches up with them. So they may hit some of the milestones of middle age earlier than others. So it's just fuzzy. So anyway, all that to say that middle age starts anywhere from 35 to 40. Now, I picked your book that said 40. Obviously, I want it to start as late as possible. I'm past it, so it doesn't matter. But at the time, I wanted it to be late. But really, 35, 40 is the beginning. And then the end is 60, 65. So what the heck? Count it all the way 65. It's fuzzy on the end, remember? But basically, it's your 40s and 50s. and early 60s is considered middle age. Now, is that really the middle chronologically of your life? No, of course not. I mean, the average life expectancy is around 78. A little bigger or longer for females than males, a little longer for European Americans than African Americans, but around 78. So 78 would be, 34? And that's not middle aged. So it's not the middle of our life expectancy. It's different than that. It's a time of changes in your life that just happened to start in your 40s and 50s. And some of that is because you've had so much accumulated experience and knowledge in your career and life in general. It's also combined with the stage that other people are in, because your parents are older, your kids are growing up and becoming independent. So it's a lot of other statuses that are changing, and that's why we think it's a developmental stage for you. Now, I'm talking to mostly 20-year-olds. I know that, in the 20s. But I'm saying you because our topic of study all the way throughout here has been your life. Now we're just talking about your future life. So I am still referring to you. So if you look at the notes for chapter 15, physical and cognitive development, you'll see that middle age comes later than the chronological expectation. Middle age is coming later, just like puberty is coming later. And some of that is because we live longer and we're healthier. And so maybe we don't hit some of these changes that we talked about until later. Also, we're waiting to have kids till later, so the kids don't leave the house till later. Our parents are a pretty darn healthy and long living group, so we don't have to take care of them until a little later than we used to have to take care of them. So all those things that make this stage unique are happening a little later too. Alrighty. Speaking of when you become middle-aged, it's like a redneck joke, right? You know you're middle-aged when? People have different opinions. I know with this virus stuff, there's a lot of people who are shocked that they are actually in the category that is high risk because they never thought of themselves being that old before. So everybody has a different idea about when you're middle-aged, when you're older, late adulthood, whatever. When you're an adult. Remember we had that discussion, one-person discussion, in the other chapters. Okay, so some people say it's when you have to worry about have enough money for healthcare. Because when you're younger, I don't think it's in your notes, but when you're younger, you don't go to the doctor. Remember we said that. You don't need to. You have an acute infection, so you got to take care of that. But otherwise, you don't usually have chronic issues. But you do in middle age. I should have brought my blood pressure medicine down. I work out 5 days a week. I eat the weirdest stuff. I even thought about doing a video about what I eat throughout the day, how weird it is. I eat flaxseed and sunflower seeds ground up with water to make a paste for breakfast. I mean, throughout the day, I try to eat, except for I like meatballs. I eat meatballs. But other than meatballs, I try to only eat foods that are on the antioxidant, anti-inflammatory list. I mean, it's just extreme. I sleep at least 8 hours a night. I don't smoke. But I have high blood pressure. So, go figure. I asked why? Why? She said, age. There you go. So now I have to take blood pressure medicine. It's not high dose and it's not expensive. But your parents are probably on medications also. And it's a daily thing. That's something you don't usually experience in early adulthood. So some people say that's when you're middle-aged. Other people say, you're middle-aged when your last kid leaves home. You're middle-aged when you don't recognize the songs on the radio. That's the ones I'm thinking of right now. Yeah, so we have to give it a number, and that's what we do. So let's talk about the physical changes that happen to our bodies, and there are a lot. Now, a lot of these started, well, not a lot. Some of these started in early adulthood. We talked about hair thinning, balding, going gray around 30, fine lines starting to happen in the skin, and that skin is the first sign of aging. So those things were already there. Lungs and heart, lungs decline, kidneys decline. So, those just progress. But there's some new stuff. So, of course, one of the earliest signs of aging is skin. So we'll talk about skin again. Instead of just like fine little lines, now we're starting to sag, and I always like that. I'm a little telling on myself, but my skin and my neck has become a lot, oops, my monitor went to sleep, has become a lot thinner. I don't know if you can see that. It's a lot thinner than it used to. It's a lot weird. Anyway, there's definitely been a change in my skin, and it's more saggy. It doesn't have as much fat, and the crepey skin, I guess I won't show you that because I have to take my thing off. The crepey arm skin and chest skin that you see in the older ladies when they squeeze their arms together and they get all that wrinkled stuff up on their chest. Yeah, that's kind of stuff's happening in middle age. It's coming a lot of times from what you did in early adulthood, all that sun exposure, but it's definitely changing. We have loss of fat and collagen under the skin, so it's not as tight. You young girls have nice tight skin. I put eyeshadow on my eyelids and I move my eyelid like that and it stays there for a while. See that? It stays there. There you go. Oh. If I wrinkle up or if I pull my skin down here sometimes, it stays there. You can't really see it right now. You just got to trust me, right? For middle-aged women, facial attractiveness is their number one concern. I'm guessing because you can hide the rest of your body, but you can't repair what you've done to your face. So you see this big, yeah, right there, that age spot. Yeah, that's from too much sun. Yep, can't have a hard time hiding that. Yep. So got to take care of your skin, ladies. We also get dark spots on our skin. You could probably, yep, see that right there. I never used to have that. What is that? Looks like nail polish. Hi, guess what it was? It was berries. Because you know why I ate berries? They're high in antioxidants. All right. Yeah, see those age spots? Those are new. Never had those in my life. Never. It's aging. Oh, there's a big one right there, and a big one right there, and a big one right there. Okay. So look at your parents' hand. Lots of dark spots. Look at their face. Look at their neck. Wherever. Look at their arms where they've had skin exposure. You can't always see it better whenever I'm tanning, but I got big splotches here I never had before. Okay. Hair changes. It gets thinner. It's not been my issue. Graying, yeah, balding, it just continues. Fingernails, baby, that's weird. Never thought about fingernails. Your parents' fingernails are harder, more brittle than they used to be and get ridges. And you know what? That affects how you paint your nails. I don't do the acrylic nails, so I paint them myself. And there are definitely ridges. Like, it's not easy to paint my nails anymore. It's bumpy. It goes like that. It'll skip. The brush will skip. So I have to put it on a little differently than I used to. All right. Our height and weight, we shrink. I thought I'd shrunk already, but I haven't seen that. The last time I went in, they said I was 5'4". I was always 5'4", so I don't know. But we do shrink. We do get shorter over time. We lose about a half inch a decade, so it doesn't seem like much, but it adds up. And our body fat increases. So another thing that changes. Bones change. They get thinner. And that can start even in your 30s. And of course, things that you do can deplete it faster than others, having babies, that kind of stuff, nursing. Strength declines. Yeah, who's going to bother most? Men or women? Men. Especially declines in back and legs, the stuff that they use to pick up things. Vision changes, that's a huge change. It's one of the things that your parents bemoaned the most in the beginning was, I can't see. You'll notice them holding things further and further and further away from them because they can't see up close. I'm absolutely there. I don't know where my glasses are, but I have them. I've talked about that in class, that I probably should be wearing them when I'm in class because I start not to be able to see my notes. So 40 to 59 is the sharpest decline in vision. That's when it's going to go downhill the most. And some of that is about blood flow reduction, although exercise helps that, physical exercise. And the lens gets thicker, and so it can't bend as much to adjust the focusing distance, because that's what it does. Hearing changes. The men lose their hearing for high-pitched noises earlier than women, and we talked about this in class, that might be a cohort effect from the kind of jobs they've had and exposure to loud noises in the military and industries. So we may see that changing in the future when people have different kinds of jobs. But 50 to 55 is the sharpest decline in their hearing. And women lose hearing too. I definitely can tell a difference in my hearing. Cardiovascular changes. Yes, blood pressure increases. La la. Reduced blood flow to the heart and brain. That ain't cool. They won't work as well. Menopause increases blood pressure too. So I guess that's just going to get worse. Awesome. Lots of cardiovascular changes. And this is, when we start to worry about these kind of things. Because, I can't tell you the number one killer. Not yet. Lungs. We already said they start to lose capacity in 20s. Around 55, it gets worse. And they can't move air around in lungs as well. So breathing is even harder. Now, you add smoking to that and not exercising, you got troubles. Sleep. They don't sleep so well at night. We don't sleep so well at night beginning in your 40s. So I know you think that you don't sleep well now. You have insomnia. It can still be there. Middle age has some problems with that. Especially deep sleep. The deep good stuff. All right. I guess now we can do the number one killer because it's up here on the notes. The reason I was on that cardiovascular so much is because number one killer is heart disease. Then cancer. Cancer is up there, of course, but heart disease is the one. Our hearts get us. We don't take care of our hearts. We don't exercise like we should. We don't, our stress level, our lack of sleep, dental hygiene, what we eat. So, some of these problems that we have with our cardiovascular and our heart blood pressure don't have any symptoms. So it can go untreated and then we cause damage. My dad just had massive heart attack. They said he had 4 of them. And he was in the hospital for 2-3 weeks. They can't do a bypass. Any bypasses they need to. He's got 100%, 80%, 50% in 3 of his vessels. And I don't know why they can't do surgery. I don't know if it's too damaged or what. He's not given a reason. Actually, he doesn't know. But he thought it was fine. Never went to the doctor because he didn't think he needed doctors. Kind of a typical male thing. And so all this built up and he didn't know it. So the symptoms aren't always so obvious, and so we don't go get it checked, and it just gets us. So heart disease, number one killer. Health issues overall, we talk about this for the first time because, we've talked about illnesses when we were talking about babies, but we didn't talk about early adults or kids because they're pretty healthy. But now we start to have some chronic problems that we need medication for, treatment consistently. So for women, the chronic problems are often like annoying ones: varicose veins, arthritis, high blood pressure, the things that are like annoying, make life uncomfortable. But for men, often the chronic illnesses that they have can kill them. They're more deadly. So cancer, strokes, heart attacks, that's more of like what they're going to be experiencing as a more chronic situation. Part of the reason we think women live longer and we have less of those serious chronic issues is because of the protective factor of estrogen. Remember, we saw that back in, I think, mid-late childhood when we did difference between boys and girls. That girls' estrogen protects them from, makes their blood vessels more elastic, and they produce more good cholesterol, and it boosts their immune system. So that estrogen is really helpful for us. And then we end up losing it. A pretty dramatic decline in estrogen is what menopause is. And menopause is the cessation of menstrual periods because estrogen is not produced in the quantity needed to be able to trigger the whole cycle. So the cycle stops. And it's ovarian failure, essentially, because the ovaries are responsible for the estrogen. So the ovaries just poop out over time. They get tired, they're done. Someone said it's like a car running out of gas because it's not like periods normal, and then all of a sudden, boom, stop. They go through like even up to a 10-year kind of like a car does when it runs out of gas. It'll go and then stop, then go, and then stop. So it can be all screwy for a while, called perimenopause. So it can last for years. But the decline that eventually, in the end, happens is dramatic. Some women complain about symptoms: hot flashes, nausea, fatigue, heart rate being increased. What's interesting is if you look at other countries of the world, other women complain of different symptoms. It seems to be culture bound. So it's kind of like what you expect to experience, you might have more of, or what's allowed, or what's focused on, or whatever. It's interesting. We have mainly hot flashes, what a lot of people complain about over here, but in China, it's fainting. Weird. But what I really want you to remember is that most women do not have any problems through menopause. You get the men who say, oh, she's menopausal, and that's the reason she's so bitchy. There's probably a lot of reasons she's bitchy, and we'll talk about those. Some of it we already have. All the changes going on in your appearance, all the health conditions that you're going through, the things you can't eat now, you can't do, you have to exercise, blah, blah, blah. The changes in your life, the appearance changes, yes, all those things can kind of make you kind of cranky. But there's more, too, that we'll get to with the cognitive and socio-emotional stuff. But most women do not have any problems at menopause. The ones that make it to the record books are the ones that go to the doctor with problems. But otherwise, it's a myth. It's really not that bad overall when we poll all women, not just the ones who go to the doctor, but we poll all women, and they're like, nah, not that big a deal. Again, now their husbands may say something different, but there's a lot of other factors we got to look at. It's not losing estrogen. Do men go through a womanopause? Do they lose testosterone? But I tell you what, you sure would think it with all the commercials on TV for low T and supplements to raise your testosterone level, give you your vim and vigor and zest for life back. All right. Well, yes, men do lose some testosterone as they age. It's not that much. It's 1% a year. Okay, so it's not like the dramatic decline in the female, but they are gradually losing testosterone, and that does affect them. It affects their sperm count. Men stay fertile their whole lives, but their fertility rate goes down, 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 down. The number of healthy, mobile sperm just keeps decreasing. So, is that cord all around there? Got my mom necklace on. So it reduces sperm count, it does reduce sex drive, and it reduces sexual functioning. So it's not as easy to get an erection, and they're not as full as they were before. And of course, that's part of the advertising too of what benefits it's going to give you. It's going to give you your sexual prowess back and your interest back. They need more stimulation than they did when they were younger. And that was, remember, some of that was kind of like the reason maybe that women hit their peak later, because they're matching up with when the guy takes more stimulation for him, takes longer, so maybe she gets more out of it. I don't know. So you've got this natural slight decline in testosterone, and then you add in chronic health problems like diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. You add those things in, those things impact sexual functioning also, because we need good circulation. So you have testosterone going down, you have health problems, and then you add in the medical treatment for those health problems. Blood pressure meds, the diabetes, and the cholesterol. Those things cause sexual functioning too. So they're getting hit on 3 rounds. Testosterone going down, the chronic health problems that they have affect sex drive and functioning, and then the medications. So no wonder Viagra is such a big seller for people at this age. No wonder Vialis is advertised for middle-aged men, because they're the ones getting whammed by all these variables that will impact their sexual function. And we don't want that. Nothing to the women. And I don't talk about the women's sexual function. Not much out there for that, but boy, we don't want to mess with the man. So, they get whammed. Speaking of sexual functioning, not something you want to talk about, your parents, having sex, but people in middle age do have sex, all right? It's not the most frequent stage in life. The most frequent is actually 25 to 29. And you would guess that's probably because they're getting married, having kids. Not after they have kids, but getting married, trying to have kids, or dating or whatever. They report having the most sexual frequency, and it's at least twice a week, if you're curious. So middle age frequency of sex is less than it was in the 20s. And there's a number of reasons why that could be possible. The health that we just talked about, medications that we're taking. We're tired, get tired more easily, very busy. Even though our kids aren't little anymore, they still need us. We're taking care of our older family members. We're often running the show at work, not just a cog in the wheel. We're the headmaster of the wheel. So we got a lot more responsibility. Things are routine, same old, same old. So maybe the relationship with the spouse has gone bad. It's just gotten stagnant or bad after years. So there's all kinds of variables that can go into the frequency declining in middle age. And that's it for the physical stuff. I'm going to jump over to, I don't see cognitive on here, so I'm going to go see if I can pull up the cognitive. But I think this is emotional. Yeah, so I don't know where my cognitive is. I'm going to find it over here just a second. The cognitive changes, remember we're done with Piaget. Yay. I know where I got to find it. I got to go to my Google Drive. I don't know why it's not, and I know somewhere else to go too, so I'm going to go there. Bear with me. Might be nice to have a break from my mouth anyway, huh? Oh shoot, I want to go to an older semester. Let's go down here to last. Oh, not that one. Let's go to this one, fall. See if I have it up here so I can pull up the middle. Okay. 14 and 15 notes, 11, 12. Let's do that one. Maybe this one will have the cognitive. It has the back end of the cognitive. Let's go get the front end of the cognitive. Open. Yay! Okay, found the cognitive. All right, cognitive development. So we talked about intelligence a little bit in mid-late childhood because it's the first time we ever assessed it, so it was our first conversation. And I talked about giftedness. And I said there's so many different ways to conceptualize intelligence. Well, another way to conceptualize intelligence is by crystallized or fluid, and two different kinds. Crystallized is like rock hard facts, cold hard facts. I think if something's crystallized, it's become hardened. So I think of the knowledge and facts that we have. Just, 2 + 2, how to change your oil in your car, just facts, procedural things. And then fluid intelligence is like solving a brain teaser. It's abstract thinking. It's calls upon your ability to kind of use your brain to figure out something brand new, not to do something you've already done before. And you can imagine that crystallized intelligence increases as we age. We know more. We've been through more. We've bought houses. We've fixed cars. We've lifted toilets. We've, handled our lawn issues. We've been through a lot of things, so we have a lot of tools in our toolbox. And we know how to use them. So crystallized intelligence just increases as you go through life. You know more, you've experienced more, and you're better able to handle practical life problems. But fluid intelligence declines, and actually starts declining in the 20s. So our ability to solve a brand new problem that I've never seen before and have never said anything like it before is not very good. Brain teasers, we're not very good at that. Our teenage kids are going to beat us out on that. And they're going to think that makes them smarter than us. But we know we got more crystallized. We can function better in the world than they can because we know more. Perceptual speed declines. We get slower, more slow, recognizing sounds and conflicting noises in our ears if you put headphones on, and recognizing signs. We get a little slower at that. Our reaction speed slows a little bit. We're not as quick to put our hand up if something comes at us. And this is done usually by lab testing. It's probably not something you're noticing so much in your daily life. Memory declines. Working memory declines. The ability to hold multiple things in your head at the same time. Now remember we're talking about 40s and 50s into early 60s. I'm only 48, so I don't feel like I'm feeling a lot of this part of it yet. But I know that I can't hold things in my head like grocery lists very well, and I don't like to do mental math, never have, but I'd have to do some tests when I was younger and now to see if I can see a difference. But I'm only 48, so I'm at the early end of middle adulthood. So we just generally use strategies to help us, get past that. You make a grocery list, you set out your pills with the days of the week, you get a reminder on your phone to do something, and you figure out ways to work around it. It's no big deal. Practical problem solving, we said, is, it just increases because of all the crystallized intelligence, and we develop more expertise. We know how the job that we've been working at for 20 some years works, 30 some years. we know how to do those things. So our expertise at the things that we've, given attention to in life are better. We know more. We're more valuable in that way. Work is another cognitive thing. Usually this is an interesting time for work. Okay. It's kind of contradictory because it's a time of reevaluation. People, can be thinking, I've done this for so many years, I'm tired of it, I want to do something new. Other people are saying, man, I had a goal of becoming the head person by now or owning my business by now, and I should have met it by now. Some people invest more into their work. They want that management position. It's usually people in their middle age that are in management position. That's what they're striving for. That's what they want. So maybe they put more effort into work to get to that point. Maybe they put less effort into work because they realize they can't get to where they wanted to get. Those goals are not going to happen. Or maybe they've changed and they just don't want to do them as much. And so maybe they pull back a little bit, disinvest in work, invest their time in their hobbies and their leisure activities and the things they like to do, their family. It's just a time of evaluation and potential change. It's a big time for changing careers. Your perspective about what you want to do, and are you making a difference? And that goes along with some emotional stuff that they're dealing with too. Changes. So this can lead to big moments of reflection for their work. In general, though, they don't miss work very much, not as much as younger people did. And they're very dedicated. They are often more satisfied with their job. I know I just said it, see, that's why it's confusing, but compared to 20-year-olds, usually happier with their job. They're making more money and they have more job security in general. And that could be why they're more happy with their jobs. So it's mixed, but overall they're more satisfied than younger. I want you to for sure know that. They're masters of their job now. They know what they're doing. It always feels good to feel competent. And, more money, more control. They have more control over their work lives too, because they've been there longer. They're, you're less likely to be doing like random shifts where you have no say. The old timers, the ones with seniority are the ones that get to say, I want to work these shifts, All right. I'm reading the other notes on here. Maybe waiting till retirement, maybe full invested in work. Lots of different ways to be. So it's just a time of change for sure. Other topics, the last couple topics for cognitive stuff is leisure. Leisure activities are really, really important for people in middle age. They should be investing more time in them than they were younger. They have more time to do it, more money to do it usually. The child responsibilities are a little less. But it's also helping prepare them for retirement. They're going to stop working. That's their goal. And they're going to need something to do. So their increased investment in leisure activities is actually important for them to transition well. So you got to understand why they're doing that as their adult children. They have more. This group is very unique. And I want to say that, I didn't say that earlier on. We're the